Last time on T-REV.
You made a great point on Twitter the other day, and I thought it was awesome because you said, specifically, you were like, they never said there's no other DNA. They're only talking about the one on the sheet. So that right there kind of opened my eyes to, wow, I think she's onto something. I think maybe there is other DNA.
Right. There's so much we don't know. I would say, T-REV, that when we get to the trial phase, which I think will be years from now, possibly, I think that we are going to see so much more information. And in fact, I know that to be the case because a probable cause affidavit was done very early on in the case after about really 10 to 12 days of true investigation. When I say that, it's because in the early days, in the early month of the investigation, they were just trying to narrow down people. They were just trying to establish alibis for different suspects. They were just trying to figure out who this could be. But once they honed in on Bryan Kohberger as a possible subject, which really started because of that Elantra, which they started looking into at the very end of November. In December, they subpoenaed his telephone information. Well, that led them to all this activity near and around 1122 King Road. So now they're really starting to see, this is problematic. This is a clue, right? And so they started going down that evidence trail. But then once the evidence really started coming in, the videos started coming in, they put him under surveillance. They had a very short time to write that probable cause affidavit. So it only has so much information in it.
Thank you for educating us on that. I appreciate that also. Now, another thing, and I know I'm throwing things at you, but it's just something that I question because I've seen it. What was it on Dateline and mentioned on maybe News Nation and a few others about some IDs being found, right? It was just a source. I don't know who the source is, but it was put out there. And I thought it was interesting that it was even mentioned. Do you know where that would come from, or would that just be like a source that is going to be unnamed?
Yeah, let me give you the specifics. So if you look at the affidavit return for the Pennsylvania house, his parents' house, you will see on there that there are 10 IDs that were in a glove in a box. That was really confusing at first because was it in a glove box? And I remember being on News Nation and I actually misspoke. It said glove box instead of in a glove, in a box. And I had to go through and reestablish that because I just misspoke. The information, however, we don't know about the IDs other than T-REV, and this is interesting, a source contacted someone on Mr. Cuomo's team and said there is a relation of one of those IDs to 1122 King. No one ever said it's to one of the deceased. No one ever said it's to even Dylan Mortensen or to anyone living at the house then. The only information that I was told was that it was to 1122 King Road, which is very interesting. I don't know more about it than that.
Wow. Thank you for breaking that down. That has actually just answered my question, and I appreciate you doing that. Also, what is your thoughts or what is your take on them? The prosecution has said, what did they say? Because someone said this question and I wanted to ask it also. It says, why would the prosecution agree to the destruction of the house?
Well, as I see it, what's happening is, of course, the university owns it now because it was given to them by the original owner. The defense nor the prosecution are putting in a motion to keep that house erected. I find it very interesting because no matter whether I am in the defense camp or the prosecution camp, I think that house should remain. It's so important, right, T-REV? Just imagine if you were on the jury. You would want to feel the proximity with going up the stairs from where Dylan Mortensen was to where Kaylee and Maddie were. You would want to know if you cracked open the door, what could you really see? More importantly, even than that, you would want to hear sounds. Remember, there is sound from the outside of that house that was gleaned, that's used in that probable cause affidavit. I would want to have somebody go outside and speak and see, or have somebody inside speak and see if it could be heard outside. I would want to hear if I could hear footsteps. All of that's so important, and videos are great, and they're going to have a very great schema. It's been, I really need to put it on Twitter again to show exactly what these schematics and videos can do, but nothing is like being there. Nothing's like walking it and feeling it and hearing it. Nothing.
Rev Gang strong. Justice for the Idaho 4.